Today is day 277 of Arukh HaShulchan OC. Today's Arukh HaShulchan OC is being sponsored, as was yesterday's Arukh HaShulchan and the day before's Arukh HaShulchan, by Reb John Abraham in honor of this year's Purim Mishulish extravaganza. They will be zeicha to celebrate Purim Mishulishes in the future in Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim, and be zeicha to the unique simcha which this 3-day Yom Tov represents. Today we are doing Siman Kuf Tzadik Beis Siv Gimel through Kuf Tzadik Gimel Siv Dalet. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, it would be greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. And of course, we are in the middle of the halachos of Zimun. Gimel, right? Yes. Kate said he says Zimun. Hamvarach Amen Avarach Shechalom Mishalo. The Mevarach says in Rosh Hashanah Mishlo, again, we spoke about Rabbi Simon Invention, or Havlo Nivrech, or Rabbi Simon Nivrech yesterday, and but the forum was in begins Rosh Hashanah Mishlo. I'm assuming Onim Rosh Hashanah Mishlo Tvochina, and those who are at the table answer Rosh Hashanah Mishlo Tvochina. Mevarach Chozer Rakena, and Mevarach repeats that line. Bring Amen. And according to Rosh Hashanah, they answer Amen. But Sharei Huso Bracha. It's the end of a bracha. We should infatuate with it. Those who cast doubt on this, may no ikar. But it's not primary. So the Baruch Shulchan has to answer a main after Zimun. But the Mishnah Berurah says the Meg does not answer. And the Mizrahim certainly does not answer Amen after the Mesubin said Baruch Shulchan, etc. And the Midah, I think, why it's Midah is in this case like the Mishnah Berurah, not the Arukh HaShulchan. Back to our Shulchan, V'lama Ein Omer Baruch Hu K'mo B'Tfila B'Chaz Torah. Why would you talk to say Baruch Hu? Mishum the Ein Omer Baruch Hu L'Pachas Mishlosh. You can't say Baruch Hu to less than 3 people. Hamavur Mikroi de Gadlu. It's me, Gadlu 1 to 2. B'Chishem etc. K'mosh Kasavnu. Chen Tzichol Atzoim Mehem Lomar Nevarech. That's how you say. You're going to say Baruch Hu. You say Nevarech. So I'm not sure. Not sure exactly why Baruch Hu is different than Gadlu. If you can say Gadlu to 2, why can't you say Baruch Hu to 2? But okay, I guess Baruch Hu is higher, and therefore it has to be to 3, and you're only 2. If he's a Kshesh Arm Musub, Baruch Hu. Well, that's the case. When there are 4 people around, you should be able to say, or you should be able to say Baruch Hu. And so when there are 10 people. Okay, but it's in order that all the levels of Birchas Zimun should be equivalent. The Takana was always saying also not to separate oneself from the rest of the Mizamni. And we came why by Tefillah Torah we're not concerned about that. The Bisham came and Shomer HaMevorach, since you say Baruch Hashem HaMevorach Lo Tziyatzon, not exempting yourself because you're part of the Mevorachim. And furthermore, the Bisham Apish Kwayotze De Chavasa Yochal also Baruch Hu Lo Tziyachem. Also, by Baruch Hu, you even your Yotze array by saying Baruch Hashem Baruch Hu to another Baruch Hu, you're going to be saying it again to be Motzi others. Saying Tzirchol Atzmo Od, and you no longer have to include yourself. Abrichas Hamazon Ein Baruch Elen Ken Ochab Atzmo. Abrichas Hamazon you can only make if you ate yourself. The Chai Bracha and became liable to Bracha. Chen Ein On Rashai Lotzi Atzmo Min Achal. Therefore, now have to remove yourself from the group. The event. But Yosef, there are more than 4 people present, you and 3 others. Shalomar Baruch Hu, Yosef, he said Baruch Hu instead of Nevarech, you were Yotze. As Avram Achen Kosav Hatur, the Mishnah Berurah said, by 2 you said Baruch Hu, it's possible Yotze too, because again, I'm not sure why you should not be Yotze, because it's obviously, it's part and parcel of God, so it should be no worse than Gadlu as far as I can tell. Could be I'm missing something here, but I'm not sure what the difference between Baruch Hu and Gadlu is. Dalit, I'm sure I'm missing something. I'm not sure what I'm missing. They say Rosh Hashanah and only afterwards they say Rosh Hashanah. Should we call them a rak tzivui? Look, I'm assuming before that's only a directive, which is given to all those who are there. We should bless Hashem because He gave seed in this meal. It's like a preparation and designation. You don't mention the totality of the bracha. When they respond, they say, and in His good, and with His goodness, He has given us life. Meaning, not just in this meal. Have we eaten from HaKadosh Baruch Hu's largesse? And we always live by His goodness. That's why the Mevarich himself has to go back and say, Baruch Shalom Mishol Tvochenu, Nei Shalom Maradam Tvochenu. Then he yet say that special praise. There were people who had the minute that when the Mevarich says, Nevarech Shalom Mishlo, Hayam Sayin Gankin, he himself would end Gankin Tvochenu with that ending of Tvochenu. For the need Chut Ibrahim, but their words have been rejected. And now there is no such minhag anywhere. The Ima you are sorry the 10 Yivarach b'Shem, then use the Shem Hashem, Hashem and the Berech Elokeinu, you mentioning God's name. Behem Oni Gankin Baruch Elokeinu, they say Baruch Elokeinu, but Gamu Chosar Behem Baruch Elokeinu, he says Baruch Elokeinu again. Lo Yomar Nevarech Lelokeinu Belamed. The shouldn't say Berech Lelokeinu, we will bless to our God. With a lamed, the bracha lo ksiv lamed. Okay, it's a chiddush to me. That's what we learn Arukh HaShulchan, learn chidushim, right? If a bracha lo ksiv lamed doesn't say bracha two, you'll see baruch amim Elokeinu. Rather, it says blessed nations our God. Makilos baruch Elokeinu. In the chorus is bless God. So Orech Elokeinu, not Lelokeinu. Hey, but take Maskim Berachas Azan immediately you start Berachas Azan. Yeshmei Mikonim Baruch V'Shmo. Those who say Baruch V'Shmo previously. Ain't okay, and it's not appropriate. Shlomo Tzina Zel B'Gemara V'Lo Poskim. Even though it's in many student benchers, it's not Gemara, not a Poskim. V'Asher B'Tu Yesh Lashon Zeh. Even though the Torah does have such a language, Kasvu Shuto Satzfus. They wrote that it's a mistake. Then the Indian Klal has no relevance to the Zimun. If anything, it's interruption machine. Because Zimun has on. But although that may be the case, we do find many Rishonim. Okay, has the Babu Drum. Yes, because of the Zelshin Baruch Masor. Those say Baruch Shmo is when you say when you have a Zimun of 10, and you say Elokeinu. You'll see Kishem Hashem Ekra, Havu Gud Elokeinu. When I call the name of God, give greatness to God Elokeinu. So Baruch Shmo is the greatness. But it's better not to say. Keno Minhag Pashim is saying that is the widespread minhag in our countries. Mr. Bura is on a minhag to say it, and the Magen Avraham, according to Mr. Bura, says no, an individual should not say it, and also three should not be said if by the two are mezameh, but only by the mevarich. I guess it's I don't know why there should be a difference, but in any event, the belief of many nowadays is generally not to say it. That seems to be the case of most poskim. We make the differentiation. Although in the Mishnah itself in Brachos does make the differentiation, we don't make the differentiation be 10, 100, or 1,000 or more. We don't say anything more than the Varech Lelokenu, as the Lochak Rabbi Akiva Mishnah Mentes based on Rabbi Akiva says in that Mishnah. Why? By assuming the name of Bida Sadin, Elokim, whereas in davening and learning we say Havaya. Because food is bedin. If a God created creatures, he should give them their food. Because it's appropriate. It's a din that everybody should get their food. But Torah is chesed. But Torah is Torah's chesed. Elohim Askim Shem Havaya. It's a chesed because Baruch gave us the Torah. It's a chesed that the Torah is what it is. But and furthermore, Shemazan Hechim Beis B'Yas Olam. Food Hashem prepared when He made to create the world. And everything in the beginning, Bereshis is done with Elokim. Which was the name which was in effect at the time of the Bria. As opposed to learning and diving, they are from above this world. And they are bestowed upon us from the highest treasures. For the name of Havaya is connected with them. That's why I mentioned the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Only when we have 10 people, now when there are less than 10 people, because the divine presence is present when there are 10 present, and the 10 people present. Makelos specifically refers to an Edo, which is 10 people. Anybody deviates in the formula that Chachamim implemented, and the version that they implemented, ain't all the Torah is making a mistake. Such as Shomer says, he says, let's make a bracha on the nutrition that we consumed. Because it sounds like, let's make a bracha to the food. Let's bless the food. Therefore, when you're saying, we have 10 people who mentioned the name, saying the Varech Elokeinu Shachal Mishalo. You could say that Hashem Varech Es Hashem Amazon Shachalu. Right? You could say theoretically, in that case, Nevarech Elokeinu Al Amazon, but not just Nevarech Al Amazon when they're less than 10. We should also say, let us bless to he to whom from whom we ate. Sounds like you make a bracha to the host. If you have 10 people, shouldn't say that way. Even though then no longer indicates it's going about bias because you mentioned the name of Hashem. It sounds like you're saying the God among many gods from whom we ate. As if they're other authorities. You shouldn't say in his goodness, from his goodness. It sounds like it's a little bit of good. When you diminish the chasadim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when you say it that way. Only when you're making requests, you should say it that way. Satisfy us from your goodness. You're not supposed to ask so much. When you're praising Hashem, you don't limit and curtail the praises. Instead of word chayim, says he is a burer. Right? Because he includes himself from everybody else. You say utuvo chayim. You don't say utuvo chayenu. Sounds like you're excluding yourself from the praise, and that is inappropriate and just wrong. Zayin, even though serve the 10 people present, they're not mentioning Hashem by mistake. It's too late, they can't go back. You are niftu midei zimun because already you're zimun without the shame. It is a distortion that cannot be fixed. Low. They haven't responded yet. Since the zimun has not yet been fulfilled, the opposite of Baruch Yana b'shem. Then first go back and mention them Hashem, then they should respond to him. Shmuel says that the Mizami can go back, say Elokeinu, or in other words, let's say he said the Mizamnim did not say, the people answered and say so can he say it anyway after them? No. They didn't say can you go back and say it anyway after they forgot to say Elokeinu? So since they said without a shame, then everybody agrees if they say it with shame, even though he forgot when he said Nevarech, he can say it again when he says Baruch Elokeinu afterwards. Simon Kuf Tzadi Kimmel. Fresh bench time Shalchu Lo Shlosha. Levad Zimun. The difference between 208 and 308 besides Zimun. Of course, but Sim Kupi comes Kusam Zayin, the Brachas Ananin, and Damas Birchas Mitzvos. Brachas Ananin are Brachas on pleasures, not like Brachas before Mitzvahs, even though they both precede the entity on which the blessing is being blessed. The Birchas Mitzvahs, Yechol Lotias Chaver, by Birchas Mitzvahs, you can be motzi your friend, B'Bracha B'Rechaso, in the Bracha, Afshal Yischaiba, even though you're not obligated, Mitam, the Kol Yisraelim Zeh, even though it's said because Jews are responsible for each other. For example, this Purim, I read Megillah 5 times, twice at night, 3 times during the day, and each time I made brachas, mimotzi other people. But somebody who's planning motzi another person, brachas anani, cannot be motzi unless he himself is nehene. Even one who does get pleasure cannot be motzi other person's getting pleasure unless they are embedded together, so to speak. And something where the embedding is effective. It could go past which is bread, etc. Where they are fused to be like one body. Bracha HaShulchan, one bracha for all. All this only for the first bracha. They have a mind to join together and to unite themselves to eat together. But with the last bracha came which because they are going to separate from each other, since they're on the verge of separating. So along this beginning, they're coming together. The end, they're going to separate. They're not mitzvah each other. Should go be brachas achad, and one can exempt the other. But by other brachas achronis, I don't think it's the halacha that you cannot, because people do it all the time, but rather it's best that each one should exempt should not exempt the other, but should do it himself. So too, by Birchas Hamazon, when two people ate, it's best for each one to bench by himself. But you write to the Chatchila, it's a mitzvah to bench themselves, but the ever you would say by your friend. I don't think Arukh HaShulchan argues. But three people ate together. Since they're required to do a zimun, and they say let us bench together. The zimun joins them together. And theoretically the mevorech can make all the benching, and those who listen will have in mind, let's say to Yotze with their hearing, they know how to make roast themselves. The place seems clear. They came in the Zimun Mechabrom, since the Zimun joins together, Dinam Kifil Betzibor, the halachas like Kifil and Betzibor, Shashliach Tzibor, Tzibor, Tzibor was moitzi them. Yidei their obligation. By that I mean not supposed to be a person who is conversant does not be used with the Shliach Tzibor. That's a specific halacha by tefillah because it's asking God for mercy, supplication. He should ask for his own mercy. But other things, other things, it's best in one person make a bracha. All the other people listen. As when people come together in a larger group, it is more of a splendor for the king, in this case for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because etc. Why should Birchas supposed to be any worse? Kevan, the Zimun Rechabim, since the Zimun joins together, they should all join together to be to one person. So why don't we do this? That's saying, let's say it's b'shmiya, because by us, our minhag is not to be by shmiya by any bracha. About Kiddush or Havdalah, except for Kiddush, Havdalah, Birchas HaMitzvah, and the Birchas HaMitzvah Kishofar and Megillah. But according to this primary letter of the law, near Baruch Kenu, it would seem that would be ideal to be Yotze. He writes, it's appropriate. Everybody should say silently with the Mevarach. Because maybe they won't hear properly. But according to the strict letter of law, so each person does not have to make their own independent bracha. That which two people, each one benches for himself. That's if they know how to make their own brachas. One of those that make the bracha, the second was an ignoramus. The person who can benches. And the ignoramus is yotze. And the boor has to have him listen to each and every word that the mevarech says. That works when he doesn't know how to make a bracha, but he understands Hebrew. But if you cannot yotze, if you don't understand what's being said, ain't no yotze b'shas, you're not yotze with your listening. See him at Torah, and Torah concludes the Chen Anoshim and Yotzes Birchas Anoshim. So men do not fulfill the obligation with men's brachas. Women are not yotze with men's brachas. Kemach ein mevinos klal, you don't understand at all. But so what is the eitzah for them? What can they do? They should repeat word for word after the person who's making the bench, who's leading benching. Because if you say it yourself, you have to say you don't understand what you're saying. And that's between Hebrew and foreign languages. The Belashon Laz in foreign languages, you have to understand what you're saying yourself. The location Mishomer the Belashon Kodesh living, but this is by Lashon Kodesh, we do not pass like the opinion that you have to understand what you're saying. You should know the Das Rashi Zal the Afna Shomer Belashon Kodesh Yossi the Chavoso Av Chaim Levin. That's right. That you should know the Rashi's opinion is that even that somebody who's listening in Hebrew his chiyuv, even if he doesn't understand. In other words, not like previous if. Even in Hebrew, you'd say even you don't understand. Now you also bench word for word. The commentators the Rosh L'Hokol Beferish El Misibukim Misapkulu. The Rishonim are unsure. For Tamanu El Simukupehe Al Ikar Deozu. We already wrote our astonishment. Why not be Yotze B'Lashon Kodesh even don't understand? Become Dolei Chornikas with them in the Karashi that people are Yotze even though they don't understand. And women who don't know how to make brachas themselves listen to men and they are fulfill obligation. They don't understand at all. And even like Kiddush the rights, our custom is that women and even the Ramuses are yotze by listening. Now, of course, no matter what, the person who's being listening has to have in mind to be yotze. And the person who's being motzi them has to have in mind to be motzi them. Sure writes, nevertheless, it's best, even though Arukh HaShulchan says you can't rely on that, and Shitas Rashi, but it's best if they have to say word for word silently, if they can, because according to this, it's according to all the poskim. And it's also proper to do that, no matter what, because it's not always possible to listen intently enough, so therefore it's always good to say word for word together with the Mevorach.